Pfizer and AstraZeneca take a hit as vaccine delays threaten Europe's recovery. London CNN Business. The European Union is calling out vaccine makers AstraZeneca and Pfizer over delivery delays that could slow its recovery from the pandemic. Officials are even threatening to take legal action and introduce export control on doses produced in the bloc as anger mounts. AstraZeneca will not be able to deliver as many doses of its vaccine as promised, according to the EU officials, putting government rollout plans at risk. The news comes after Pfizer said it had delivered fewer doses of its vaccine than expected last week. EU Health Commissioner Stella Kyriakides on Monday expressed dissatisfaction on talks with AstraZeneca and said the conversations would continue. She said the drug maker intends to supply considerably fewer doses in the coming weeks than agreed and announced. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen turned up the heat on the pharmaceutical companies on Tuesday, saying the bloc means business. Europe invested billions to help develop the world's first COVID-19 vaccines to create a truly global common good. And now the companies must deliver. They must honor their obligations, she said during a virtual meeting of the World Economic Forum. EU countries counting on the vaccine to rein in the health crisis and jumpstart their economies are now being forced to modify their plan. Italian Deputy Health Minister Pier Paolo Sileri told TV channel Rai 1 on Sunday that people of 50 years old would be vaccinated for 4 weeks later than planned as a result of the delays. The country is threatening the legal action against the drug makers. By the fall, we could vaccinate up to 45 million Italians, but I don't believe in these companies, Sileri said. I want to see the vaccines. Unexpected delays. The European Union has ordered 300 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines, which could be approved for use as soon as this week, with an option to purchase an additional 100 million. The company said that production has been hampered by the manufacturing issue. While there is no scheduled delay to the start of shipment of our vaccine, should we receive the approval in Europe, initial volumes will be lower than originally anticipated due to the reduced yield at a manufacturing site within our European supply chain, AstraZeneca said in the statement. We will be supplying tens of millions of doses in February and March to the European Union as we continue to ramp up production volumes. The news has sent the bloc reeling, just as it was racing to assess the impact of delays announced by Pfizer. The U.S. company said on January 15 that it would be delivered fewer doses than planned last week while it upgraded its manufacturing facility in full Belgium. The drug maker said it would still be able to meet first quarter target, and as the result of the changes to its Belgian plant, will be able to churn out 2 billion doses by the end of 2021. That's up from the 1.3 billion it had originally estimated. Pfizer said Monday it would return to its original schedule of deliveries for the European Union this week. European governments are demanding answers, pointing out that success of their vaccination efforts is dependent on the private sector. On the one hand, we can only welcome the result of science, and on the other hand, we have a monopoly and we are totally dependent. Belgian Health Minister Frank van der Broek said on Saturday. There may be production issues, but there's uncertainties and announcements make it very difficult to organize the campaign. Korea cadets said on Monday that the bloc would now demand full transparency concerning the export of vaccines from the European Union. In the future, all companies producing vaccines against COVID-19 in the EU will have to produce only notification whenever they want to export vaccines to third countries. Humanitarian deliveries are, of course, not affected by this, she said on Twitter. How bad is it? Supply chain experts are much more concerned by the news from AstraZeneca than Pfizer, given the latter company's commitment to increase output soon. AstraZeneca's vaccine, developed with Oxford University, is also much easier to distribute because it can be stored at higher temperature than the Pfizer alternative. The delay for a week or two is not a big problem, said Burak Kazaz, a professor of supply chain management at Syracuse University. Though I certainly understand that the delay means lives. The scope of the problems facing AstraZeneca, which are far more serious, would become clear in the coming weeks, he said. Delays from the postpones are a sign that there are still kinks in the supply chain that needs to be ironed out as the distribution ramps up, according to Prahant Yadav, a medical supply chain expert and senior fellow at the Center for Global Development. We will have more of these up and downs till we get to a stable process, Yadav said. Given the rocky attempt to get up to speed and the concentration of production at just a few manufacturing sites, the public should expect monthly manufacturing capacity to fluctuate for the time being, he said. Richard Wilding, a professor of supply chain strategy at Cranfield University in England, noted that there are at least 50 items necessary to run vaccination sites, from alcohol wipes and syringes to personal protective equipment. Supply chains for those items need to run smoothly too. Crucially, the delays aren't just a problem for Europe. The price will be paid by developing countries who don't have access yet, because their deliveries may be delayed further down the line, Yadav said. James Flutter, Chris Liakos, Amanda Seeley, and Stephanie Halas contributed reporting.